Welcome to the show. Today we are talking about some fantasy football, deeper sleeper league winners. I know it's a lot to talk about, but guys that you can get late that could absolutely win your league that are great value in drafts as of today. And we are in late May right now, heading into June. Look for the ADPs of these players to start rising as we get closer to the season. Now, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up, everybody. If you are new, again, subscribe. Also, drop a comment below. Who are you targeting deeper? If you don't know who the deeper sleepers are, I implore you to grab the 16-round draft solution. You can get it below. Use code WIN to save. This is the game changer. I'm literally laying out everything on a silver platter. It's like giving you the answers to the test. Optimal players draft each round, video trading, mock drafts, and I'm even putting the strength of schedule in the cheat sheet as well. And I update the cheat sheet until the season starts. Everything you need to smash leagues, grab 16 rounds right now. I've linked it below. You guys are going to be extremely happy, and you're going to dominate your leagues. Grab 16 rounds. Again, use that code WIN to save, okay? Very, very important. All right, again, hit that thumbs up. So let's talk about it. These 5 players here. I got a bonus one here as well. But also, beginning of the shows, I'm going to be doing, the latest news and notes segment. I don't know if you guys remember, I was doing this last year where we had Breaking Brad.
We now have breaking news.
Where we talk about the latest fantasy football news or just NFL news going on. And I want to do this segment at the beginning because I want to keep you guys on top of some movements around the league and stuff like that. This is very important also during the season as well. So, Breaking Brad, cue us in.
We now have breaking news.
Okay, we're going to get to those 5 players that are deeper sleepers, but I just want a couple notes here I want to just talk about. They're very, very important here that you need to be aware of. Now, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Sanders are possible candidates for starting quarterback job upcoming for the Browns. And apparently it's a fair, efficient competition. They're all working hard. We don't know who the starting quarterback is for the Browns. Makes it an entirely suspect offense. Be careful when drafting any players there on the Browns. Now, continuing on with the Browns, I want to let you know, Quinshon Judkins will almost certainly be the team's feature runner. This is kind of to be expected. He was drafted with higher draft capital. Obviously, not expected to bring back Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford took a pay cut. He's kind of on the chopping block as well. They also did add, this is also very, very important, we got to talk about this, is Dylan Sampson. He does not have a clear role heading in. And apparently he's potentially looking to be the team's third down back. So it's shaping up to be a committee. And again, Sampson could have been a workhorse in his own right, or not even workhorse, but he could have been a solid player on a team where potential starter. He was one of the top running back prospects coming out of this draft. And then he was drafted by the Browns, which is real shame because when you put 2 top prospects in a situation where they're kind of in a committee, I've rarely seen this. Now, you always see committees, right? But rarely do I see a team take 2 top running back prospects and create a committee. Very frustrating. So I'm kind of steering away. Judkins has a talent, don't get me wrong, but I just have a lot of question marks about this offense. And I just heard Jerome Ford is not a lock to make the 53-man roster. Again, this is just opinions and speculation. Obviously, Jerome Ford probably not needed. You don't need your services, sir. We drafted 2 top running back prospects. I mean, it goes without saying there, right? He's probably not needed. This is interesting. Travis Hunter worked exclusively at wide receiver during practice Monday. Again, we don't know what's going on there. Is he going to be CB or wide receiver? And I'm seeing a lot of tape where he's dropping the ball a lot, doing body catches. So Travis Hunter, a bit of a concern. I still think he's better value than a Brian Thomas Jr., who still is the one, but you draft a top wide receiver prospect. You almost wonder how the distribution of volume is going to look there in Jacksonville. Very, very interesting. I had to make that point as well. Also, if you're interested in drafting Luther Burden III, a rookie, Bears, there'll be an option for him to return punts this upcoming season, according to special teams coordinator Richard Hightower. This is the problem I have, guys, when you have a place where there's a ton of mouths to feed. They drafted the top tight end, Loveland. They've got Romo Tuesday. They got all these options, right? And DJ Moore, of course. And then you draft one of these top wide receiver prospects, and then they're like, you got so many options. Like, okay, we're just gonna make this guy return punts. As soon as I hear that, that's a red flag. Do not draft. Okay, like it almost reminds me of Tavon Austin years ago, where he was a flashy wide receiver coming out of the draft, and then he was returning punts, and then he was used as a gadget player. We don't want that. We want pure wide receivers. That's what we want to draft on our team. We don't want to waste our time. Okay, so that's it for Breaking Brad.
We now have breaking news.
All right, let's move on to the show here and talk about these players. Now, here's the bonus one for you, because I got 5 players you can draft deeper, but I had to add him here, and he's on the artwork because I love him so much. He's not really a deep sleeper, but he is a sleeper. It's Caleb Johnson. I really got to talk about this guy. I got to talk about my yesterday's video. The other guys I'm going to talk about this video are going to be deeper, but Caleb Johnson is in such an amazing opportunity, and we got to stop with the Jaylen Warren talk, okay? Jaylen Warren, if he was a starter, they wouldn't have drafted Caleb Johnson. They said, hey, here's the crown, Jaylen Warren. Najee sucks. We know Najee sucks. They knew last year that Najee sucked. Like, it's obvious, man. He just can't run to save his life. Can't average more than 4 yards per carry is Najee Harris. So they should have said, Jaylen Warren, you're our starter. They didn't do that. He's not the starter. Now they're saying he's our starter. Come on. Caleb Johnson's the guy. And his ADP is round 7 to 8. I had to get him between round 5 and 6, or he would have been gone off the board in my big money league. You're going to have to draft him early. His ADP is going to continue to rise, but I just want to make you aware, Caleb Johnson. And what's sad, here's the sad part, right? I'm going to pull up some stats here, is that people that aren't going to be the RB1s or aren't going to be slated, this guy's slated to have at least 250 attempts as a floor, okay? Warren only had 120 last year with Najee there. Najee had like 263. But you look at the guys that are sitting ahead of this guy, who I'm telling you, Caleb Johnson is a steal. So I'm going to take a quick glance here at who's kind of sitting ahead of him that shouldn't be. David Montgomery, who's a 2. Aaron Jones, who's 100 years old, right? You got Isaiah Pacheco, like he's average at best. You know, in the rankings, you got Jaylen Warren ahead of him, which is crazy. Brian Robinson Jr., who's sitting at RB31 in PPR. Caleb's at RB32. I mean, this is crazy. He's a top 10 running back, period. Like, I think he's going to beat all. I think he's more talented than Chase Brown. You know, it's crazy. So I'm stealing. He's my RB4 on a lot of teams. I'm just like, dude, all day. So I want to tell you that. Just draft Caleb Johnson. Don't worry about it. You'll be very, very happy, okay? All right, let's get to these 5, deeper kind of sleepers. Let's get to it. First guy I want to talk about here is Cam Ward. Very interesting prospect going into the season. What I love about here is obviously the talent, the high draft capital. I mean, he's the top quarterback off the board. Put some notes here, and I can't even spell. I don't know what a Cluth is, but Clutch. There you go. I can't even spell today. I'm supposed to be coming in clutch. There you go. Clutch is what I'm trying to say here. Accurate, clutch. I hope I spelled that right. Mobile and ADP round 14. Okay, this is where he's coming up. We're talking about the top quarterback prospect out of this draft. Elite talent, accurate, clutch thrower, and he's mobile. Like, he's not going to be Lamar Jackson, but he's mobile. Yet he doesn't sacrifice his accuracy in the pocket, right? I've done some notes on this, right? Ice water veins in critical moments. That's what you want to hear when you are looking at a quarterback, especially in fantasy, because you don't want a lot of high interceptions, especially in leagues that score interceptions highly and you get penalized for them. Here's how I look at it, man, with Cam Ward. If you're in a 1 quarterback league, he could be a great backup with upside. Are you getting the next Pat Mahomes? Probably not, but maybe. I mean, they've given him the weapons. They've got Calvin Ridley, who was complaining last year about not getting the ball enough. They drafted Alik Ayamanor. They've got Lockett in, which is, Tyler Lockett, to bring in that veteran presence. They drafted Gunnar Helm, I think, in the 4th round, tight end. They've given him some really good options here. And based on his stats, the 4,300 yards thrown, last year in college, his great interception ratio to touchdown, 39-7, kind of solidifying this whole accuracy thing. He handles pressure very, very well, and that's what we want to see. How that's going to translate in the NFL is going to be interesting to see. We've seen a lot of rookies come in. Some really flop the first year. Some really kind of take off, right? And have himself a good rookie campaign. I think Cam is one of those guys that I think he's going to have a good year, where next year he's going to be a consideration for a top quarterback prospect in draft. So I think he's going to be a great stash if you're in a 2 quarterback league, a great 3rd quarterback based on the value. But again, when you hear reports in training camp, this guy is doing really well. He's getting praises. Look for his ADP to rise in fantasy, of course. But right now, the 6'2", 219 stud, potential stud in Cameron Ward can be an interesting prospect for you to add depth at your quarterback position, back up, second quarterback even. There could be some upside there for sure, okay? Next guy here, again, smash thumbs up. Let me know what you guys are thinking. What do you guys think of these guys? Are you going to be drafting any of them? Kyle Williams is my next guy. This is an interesting prospect. You know, the interesting thing about him is, first and foremost, he's landing in a pretty unique situation where he can really emerge on the New England Patriots, okay? They brought in Diggs, who I've been watching tape. He does look good since the knee injury, but he's older, right? You got Drake May, who looked pretty good last year. Obviously, they need to make some improvements on the O-line. They improved the offense. They improved the O-line. And he is actually primed to kind of come in and really take off. Round 1 pick by the Patriots a few years ago. And the thing is like, now is the time for Drake May to shine. He's given everything to do that. So in comes Kyle Williams, drafted pretty high by the Patriots here. Explosive, great fast twitch muscle. The only thing is, it's like round 15 ADP. He's got that lean frame, right? That's where people kind of complain. You know, he's not a big body receiver, right? Maybe he's going to be playing the slot a little bit more. But listen, 184 is his ADP. We're talking round 15. The guy had 1,198 yards in college last year, 14 touchdowns on 70 receptions. We're talking to get 4.4 speed, unique opportunity. They don't have anybody else. They have Demario Douglas and Polk. Like, who else they got here? If he builds a chemistry quick in the offseason here with Drake May, we could have something special here. And all I'm saying is great value. And here's the thing, right? At worst, he's probably going to be wide receiver 2, right? And, you're getting the wide receiver 2 to Drake May pretty much for free. He might even go on draft. I don't think he'd go on draft. In some of the experts leagues, right, people know about him. He's going to come off earlier or go drafted, But in casual leagues, might go undrafted, might be a waiver wire wonder. But people are paying literally, I know it's Joe Burrow and all that, but they're paying a second round pick for T. Higgins, right? But you're getting wide receiver 2s later. That's the thing, right? That's so flawed in rankings that it's going to be like, I don't even want to spoil it, but we'll get to the next guy here. But you're getting wide receiver 2s that could be wide receiver 1s after round 8, right? And you're spending T. Higgins round 2 value, knowing he's the 2 and he's going to peak at 109 targets. It doesn't make any logical sense. And that's where this channel, that's why you guys got to subscribe. It's the common sense corner. I'm here talking your language so you can understand, right? I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Okay, I won't say which one. And they were saying like, man, and I thought it was crazy. Like, yeah, you got to draft Justin Fields, man. It's a good opportunity, blah, blah. First of all, Justin Fields, years to wow us, we're not wowed. Suspect offense, right? So they're like, yeah, man, the Jets is the year, blah, blah. And then I was thinking to myself, there's some upside, but when you're looking at quarterback, you want to mitigate risk. You want to get quarterbacks with proven track records that are going to stay consistent. Yeah, he's got rushing upside and all that, and you can get him for value compared to the top 5 running backs with rushing upside. You don't have to pay that price, but you got a major risk. I would not make Fields my quarterback 1. That's what I would not do. I do see the upside. So I'm thinking, man, risky, not my quarterback 1 and all that. And then the other person chimes in and says, yeah, I agree with you. Definitely go Justin Fields, like quarterback 1. I'm like, dude, yeah, I don't trust that, man. I see the upside. Don't get me wrong. And I'm all about upside at other positions. With quarterback, I don't mess around, man. I got to get myself my ace quarterbacks that are going to be reliable. Man, as a backup, sure. Like I said with Cam Ward, but not as my starter. Don't tell people, Fields could be your starter. That's a huge risk that could pay off, but a huge risk. Don't risk the quarterback, risk other positions, okay? So Kyle Williams, great opportunity, great situation. There could be some explosive games there. I'm not expecting him to be consistent out of the gate. I don't have huge expectations. He's a stash, okay? Next guy here, I would actually start day 1. I believe in him, and he's great value. The guy I'm talking about is Trey Harris. Round 14 is ADP. You're going to have to get him a lot earlier if you want him. Again, I'm in this experts league. I'm in the 6-hour slow draft. It's a tight end premium, 1.5 per reception for tight ends. And these guys went crazy with wide receivers. In fact, on the 7-8 turn, I think it was, or 6 week 7 turn, I got to pull up the map here, the draft board. They literally went 14 wide receivers in these mid to later rounds in the last 2 rounds. 14 wide receivers. Ricky Pearsall came off, and all these guys, Calvin Ridley came off, and I went Sutton in one of those rounds. Like, literally, man, they just went crazy. Like, one guy's got 5 wide receivers, and I think he's got 1 running back or something like that. We're like round 7. Like, literally, man, I'm telling you, people go crazy on wide receivers. Even though there's depth at wide receiver, they still go crazy. I'm telling you. So Trey Harris, strong, great hands, ADP round 14. Again, that's going to go up. Wide receiver 1 potential. I see you're spending a 2nd round pick on McConkey. I was the guy who told you to draft McConkey last year. Don't be a donkey, draft Ladd McConkey. This year, I'm changing it. You are a donkey if you draft Ladd McConkey in the 2nd round. You are nuts. Get Trey Harris. Trey Harris has the potential to be the one. Understand that the Chargers have failed the past year or 2 with Quentin Johnson. He's been a disaster. The guy's got brick for hands. He can't catch at all, period, right? And, well, he made a couple catches. I don't want to say completely can't catch, but they wanted somebody who is the exact opposite of him, and they found him with Trey Harris because Trey Harris has all the physical qualities. He's strong after the catch, and he's clutch. He's got great natural hands. He's got that dog in him, and that's what they want, that dog, that hunger. The only kind of knock to him is the 4.5 speed, the top end speed, but I'm not really concerned. Like, I don't need 4.4 speed. I'm still comfortable with a guy who can catch the ball consistently and do stuff with it after the catch and be physical. And Trey Harris is that. And I can get him for value, and I'm going to get him in all my leagues. In fact, there's 1 pick ahead of me, and I'm going to probably grab him right now. I'm pulling up the queue, and I think I'm next. There's 1 guy ahead of me. I hope he falls, because if I don't get him in this round on I think the round 8, I'm in round 8. If I don't get him around 8, he's not coming back because there's 16, because I'm 1.09. He's not coming back 16 picks later. So I got to get him here in round 8. But if you look at the consensus ranking, he's round 14. In casual leagues, he may end up being a round 12 guy. But the way that it sits right now, if you trust the rankings, he's currently round 14 ADP, and you're getting a wide receiver 1. Going back to that Higgins conversation, you are crazy to draft T. Higgins round 2 when I can get Harris and other guys later. And there's other sleepers. If you want all of them, grab 16 rounds right now. Next guy I want to talk about here, great value, is Tyler Warren, round 12 ADP. He's 154 if you look at the rankings. We're talking the top prospects here at tight end, right? Dynamic weapon, red zone monster. His yards after catch are insane. He's a red zone nightmare, literally, okay? Former QB, turns out to be now a tight end. Works better for him, 6'6", 247. And listen, they drafted this guy in the 1st round. The Colts did. They're going to use him. The Indianapolis Colts don't have a true wide receiver 1. And Michael Pittman's really fallen in drafts. He's kind of fallen off the radar because he's not really good. They got Pierce and Downs and all that. They got Taylor. They could be kind of run heavy first. The only problem I have is that if you look at it statistically the past couple of years, they just haven't thrown the tight ends a lot, right? And we don't know the quarterback situation, right? We don't know how Anthony Richardson is going to do. If he's the starter, is it Jones? We don't know. So based on the uncertainty of the quarterback position and the lack of them throwing to the tight ends is kind of my only concern I have with this guy. But when you're looking at him as talent, he's going to be great. But I can't imagine, like, he had 104 receptions in college last year, 1,233 yards, 8 touchdowns. You don't draft one of the top receiving tight ends to use them as a blocker. Now, I did see an interview with Warren basically saying, man, like, I don't mind if one game I go 10 catches and then the next game I block the entire game. And it's like, I'm all about the team winning. And that's what they kind of like are programmed to say, or reading the script. But again, I just don't see them benching him. But here's the deal. I'm not benching him, sorry, or just not using him as a receiving tight end. Here's the thing though, right? When you draft a guy in round 1, you got to use him. And if you are drafting a tight end later, which you should be, you always stack tight ends. I teach this in the 60-round draft solution. Make sure you combo him with another guy, okay? And then you've got tight end solved. Because last year, everyone drafted Laporta round 2 and Kincaid round 2 to 3. And I was like, dude, especially Kincaid, I'm like, what's the deal with Kincaid? Don't do that. Like, I don't see what that whole fascination was about. But The bottom line is just be careful when you are drafting these guys, because I'm telling you, you have to, with tight end, backup plan for a backup plan at the tight end position. Okay. It's very, very important. All right. So Warren, tons of upside, great value. Look for his ADP to rise as soon as the news comes out that he's lighting it up in camp. All right. And the last one here, again, before I get to this guy, he's a running back, which I really like. Make sure you guys do grab that 16-round draft solution. Use code SMASH. Use code WIN to save. And you guys be light years ahead of everybody in your league. Get 16 rounds. WIN is the code to save. Jump in right now. And also add the vault when you guys are checking out as well, where I reveal all the websites I use for my research analysis. Very good inside info, or just making you aware of the sites that I use for mock drafts and all that fun stuff. Okay. So last one here is Cam Skatabo, whatever you want to call him. He's interesting, man. He just came off round 8 in this draft. I'm doing the experts draft, but the guy's really competitive, really strong. Could be a goal line guy. May not, here's the thing. Like, I don't know if I trust Tyrone Tracy, who was a 5th rounder. Now, Skatabo was a 4th rounder in regards to their draft capital, drafted in the 4th round. And, like I said, vision's great. Energy's good. Competitor, strong. Had a good year in college, workhorse type volume, 293 attempts in college. Amazing stuff, right? He came off round 7 in my experts league. I made a note here. Round 7. His ADP, if you look at the rankings, around 10. It's going to be interesting. They had Singletary last year, who had 113 targets. They had Tyrone Tracy with 192. I would imagine Singletary takes a step back. I don't know, man. I'm just not sold on Tyrone Tracy being the man. Averaged 4.4 yards per carry, just under 1,000 yards, 839 last year. Did Tyrone Tracy have? So I think Skatabo, here's the thing. I think the Giants are kind of bitter that they lost Barkley, and not that they lost Barkley, let him go, and then he went and crushed it somewhere else. Maybe they're kind of looking for a Barkley replacement. I don't think Cam is anywhere near a Barkley replacement, but he could be a powerful back that could, spice up that backfield, right? So all I'm saying is, if you want Skatabo, get him as like your RB 4-5. Okay, if you're doing that. But other than that, man, I would probably be cautious with him. There's a chance he could be the one, because I'm not sold on Tracy, or it could just be a committee, or it could just be a goal line guy. We don't know. He can catch the ball though. I want to get that out. He can catch the ball. So all I'm saying is, I saw a guy in the league. He made him like their RB2 in one of these experts league, or RB1 or 2. They were relying on Skatabo kind of as their RB2, and that's very possible. There's a ton of upside, but I just like feeling a little more secure and making him kind of my RB 4-5, adding him as depth. But I see the upside. I want to get that out of the way. Okay, so Cam Skatabo, he's a beast. He's a monster. But how much volume is he going to get? That's kind of where I'm just like, will they feed him? Will they treat him like a workhorse? I think he's better than Tyrone Tracy. We'll see how it goes, all right? So let me know what you guys think here. Smash it, tap it, hit the thumbs up, drop a question if you want. But those are some deeper guys, sleeper, and their ADPs are going to rise. They're not going to stay like this. So don't get too excited when I say one guy's round 12 ADP is going to rise. So be cautious out there and keep on top of everything. But I'll keep you on top of this stuff. I'll tell you where these guys are coming off exactly in the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. We'll talk soon, guys. Hope you have a great day, great conversation. And Breaking Brad, do you have anything to say to everybody before we leave?
We now have breaking news.
No, we don't. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. Breaking Brad and I are out. Talk soon.